Hello everyone and welcome to the Creative Nowhere Land podcast. This is a fun one for me because the aim of the podcast is to bring you interesting and inspiring guests. And on this episode, we're joined by someone who inspires me regularly, 3 times a week in fact. My boxing coach, my friend, and armchair philosopher, James Collings. Now, you might be thinking, why has he got a boxing coach on the podcast? Well, we discuss how boxing is an art and how it could be considered as one of the ultimate forms of creativity, as it requires skill, imagination, and split-second problem solving. It's like violent chess, but with consequences, and it can teach us more than we might imagine about not only ourselves, but about life. We go into detail about the benefits of combat sports like boxing to take you out of your comfort zone, build resilience, humility, and the perseverance to keep going through adversity. We talk about strength, vulnerability, and how to stop being held back by the fear of being judged, because realistically, no one will ever judge you harder than you judge yourself. We also discuss James's creative journey, his talent for music as well as boxing, his time spent studying at the Royal College of Music in London, and how the two skill sets overlap. We talk about James starting his own gym, the Jab Lab, and his YouTube channel that provides workouts and great insights into the world of boxing. But we also talk about philosophy and the importance of having strong values, smiling at strangers, and enjoying your life. And we explain why it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. You can check out the links to James's social media and YouTube channel while you're listening to the podcast, of course. But without any further ado, let's get into it. How should we start this? I suppose we should say we can't talk to each other like we speak to each other in the boxing gym. Yeah, first and foremost, we don't want to be stripped off the internet just yet.
Pre-warning.
Pre-warning. James and I speak to each other like we hate each other sometimes. Okay. What came first, music or fighting?
Music. Yeah, definitely music. I'm pretty sure. I remember being into albums a lot sooner than I was into Bruce Lee films and watching boxing on the TV.
Was that the progression then, just seeing?
I think so. I think that's what got me into fighting, or the kind of martial arts discipline first was TV.
So what got you into the music?
I think it's just a musical household. My parents didn't play any instruments until myself and my sister started playing. My dad started playing at the same time. But they were always listening to music, collecting albums, always music on when they were cooking or cleaning or...
And then how did that progress into you wanting to actually learn a musical instrument?
I can't really remember. I remember going to my grandmother's house and there being my uncle's guitar, and I would have been, very young. He had a nylon string classical guitar that I just picked up and decided I really liked it. And I also remember, again, being a musical household, we were always watching MTV and all that, even my mum and dad watching the videos and seeing people shredding the old guitar. They're like, oh, I want to be like that. And then realised most of their playing was very bang average. I far surpassed them in every avenue, including success.
Here we go. And this is where James's ever-present modesty will come through. But there's quite an element within your household of like you wanting to learn.
Yes.
This seems to come across throughout your story, that continued personal development. And it sounds like it started from pretty early age.
I guess so.
You said you were quite obsessive though.
Yeah, very much so. Once I'm into something, I need to know everything about it, including who, what, where, why, how, all the different styles and means and genres and makes, brands. Yeah, it's all the guitar players. I'd find a kind of new band and be like, what's this about when their album's done? Who's the guitar player? Where did he learn? Why did he learn that? Who was the producer?
Have you got any idea where that sort of obsessive nature comes from?
Don't know. what I'd normally say, I'm not allowed. But in the modern era of ADHD and autism, probably one of them, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Just the way I'm wired.
Natural curiosity.
And also, I think massive credit to my parents is that they've always fed that.
What do you mean they fed that?
So they've never been like, nah, that's stupid or anything like that. Any hobby I've wanted to do or any kind of experimentation I wanted to do with it, they've always been like, yeah. And including my sister too. They've always let us go and do
That's
things.
pretty cool.
Yeah, they've always been that kind of way. Very relaxed about it, which is great. Yeah. You don't realise as a kid how everything was still unfair as a child.
Yeah, of course.
Really, it was,
but as an adult, you look back and go, wow, thank my parents for...
Yeah, absolutely. I had a very good childhood.
And what did that look like? You went and had sort of guitar lessons and that natural obsession?
Yeah, guitar, it was always like Christmas and birthdays unless I saved my own pocket money.
Did you steal your uncle's guitar to take it back? Or?
Yeah, so I stole that straight away, which they were all happy for me to do. But then I'd want a certain guitar for Christmas. I'd want an amp, and I'd normally get it at Christmas or birthday, or put some money towards it, or guitar pedals or any of that stuff, albums.
And presumably once that obsession grew, you go from that cheapish nylon string guitar.
Oh, yeah. Bizarrely, I got a really entry-level Marshall guitar combo, £100 for a guitar, amp, cables, picks, strings.
But is that not? It's not necessarily about the equipment, isn't it? Presumably, it's about your dedication to want to learn. You
half
can't,
and half. Same as anything. You
no, but
pay
what
the
I'm
money,
saying is
you
like
get
you
the product.
can't just go and buy a Gibson Les Paul and suddenly think you're going to be able to shred like one of the greatest guitarists players in the world.
Yeah, once you put the work in.
And you were putting the work in, weren't you? Like that. We talk about jokingly about that obsessive nature, but it was.
Oh, I'd be refusing to go out with friends. At the time, I'm going to be in a touring, very successful rock band by the time I'm 19 or whatever. So I'd put on album after album and figure out all the parts and play them all or improvise over the top of them.
But does that only come as a result of going into the music tuition so you can learn, I don't know what the right word is, the theory, I guess, behind?
I don't really know. I don't know whether the chicken came before the egg, as it were, and it was the theory that unlocked all the things, or whether it was just listening to it and just twanging away and making a horrific noise in my bedroom until I...
But I think it's interesting that music creativity came before the fighting.
I think it probably wasn't too far behind, but I don't know how old I was when I got that guitar. But then I remember watching martial arts films at a really young age as well and thinking, oh, that was cool.
And becoming equally obsessed.
Yes. Once I was equally obsessed. But I think I
Should we talk about your route into fighting then? Because the music and the fighting run very parallel, don't they?
Yeah.
These two obsessions that basically consume your childhood, your teens, and dictate a lot of the direction in which this journey heads, right?
Yeah. Yeah, now I can't escape it. I was always, when it was on, boxing used to be free on TV, on Sky and Channel 4 and all that stuff. Oh, I like that Mike Tyson, he's cool. And then Bruce Lee, more traditional at the time for me. He was more traditional martial arts, so went and found a local kung fu club, which was easy access, probably quite cheap, but I didn't, again, very supportive parents, so I didn't have to pay for it.
Parents just, again, encouraging the music and the...
Again, I at the same time as well, I forgot to say I was playing basketball a lot, and they're all going hand in hand, and the parents just dropped me off, pay for it, and so I was fully supported. But this club was pretty much, I think the first one we found, it was just down the road from where we lived and was what I was looking for. I was learning how to sidekick and do very flowery, elaborate blocks and stuff that actually in self-defense was completely useless.
But we'll talk about that. But we've all got to fly, because I actually, we spoke similarly. I started doing kung fu as well and thought it was that whole, oh wow, I can roundhouse kick and do all this sort of stuff.
But I'm going to do, when they punch and leave the hand up, do this and then break their toe.
Yeah. What do you think, starting the kung fu, did that add an element of, I mean, it sounds like you're already quite obsessed, already quite focused on the music, the basketball, the kung fu. Did that give you an extra level of discipline, do you think?
I don't know. I think it never really felt like discipline for me because it was so enjoyable. It never felt like work, any of them. Be the classic thing where you go there and it feels like you've been there 5 minutes, you've been there 4 hours. It never really felt like it was hard to, or I needed to be disciplined to get there. I was just there.
Yeah, when you're so obsessed with something, it's a joy to do it, isn't it?
And again, my parents would take me there or whatever, so I never had to worry about the actual getting to and from.
The process.
Yeah, I've got to be there for 6, Mum. and then I'd get there for 6.
Right.
Mum.
Yeah. And again, that obsession came in because you had Kung Fu DVDs and, probably VHSs at the time, probably.
It was a VHS with Kill Bill. What was that actor called? Carradine. And he did this whole workout going over all your techniques and all that, and then layering it into, again, flowery, elaborate defenses, moves. And then when I wasn't there, I'd be doing that. I'd be practicing shadow boxing, but for Kung Fu in front of the TV, much to the annoyance of my mum and dad in the lounge. Yeah. Stretching all the time. Just fully.
I think it's interesting as a teenager. I mean, we don't think of teenagers often as being the most disciplined people, but you've always seemed to have had that discipline. And
I guess I think I've always been quite selfish with my time.
I was going to say, turning down going out with your mates and stuff to practice the guitar or practice your Kung Fu. Or
I've never been one to go with the crowd anyway. I always hated football. When all my mates were doing football, I tried it for a little bit. I'm like, nah, this is as rubbish as I thought it would be. And then even with music, I was that kid who was wearing band T-shirts into hard, heavy, angry stuff, as well as other stuff. But at one point, it was just hard, heavy, angry stuff. No one else in the school, let alone any of my friends, were into any of that stuff. Then drinking at the park, didn't start drinking until I was 18. Just what I wanted to do. I'm going to be in a band and I'm going to beat people up in competition at the same time.
The music, you were playing in bands through high school and stuff like that. What did that look like? Just for fun, or?
No, we did gigs. We did loads of gigs at the school, obviously, for all assemblies and anything they put on, or anytime the schools get together and do a big show, we were playing. But we sold out Kiddie Town Hall as a teenage band. We sold out Starbridge River Rooms, if it's still called that, as a teenage band. I'm trying to go out.
So local venues as a teenager on stage, what's that feel like for a teenager shredding his guitar?
Probably terrible for my ego, which is why I'm so modest and humble nowadays. Oh, yeah, it's great fun. We was best mates doing what best mates do. We all had the same vibe. Bizarrely, we had a really good, for kids so young, a really good and gifted, skilled band. We all had all the technical ability and all that, but then the polish, because we didn't know really about guitar tone properly or live sound properly. So it just sounded like.
Oh, I see. So
all
other
the
elements that you've got to learn about being a musician rather than just a skill to play.
Of course, we thought we sounded bee's knees. But yeah, great fun.
Do you have any idea what your friends were thinking about this obsessiveness that you've got? Did you have any similar friends that were equally obsessed with their practice?
Again, at the time and still now, I couldn't really care less. Love my friends, still got a very good friendship group.
Yeah, but that's quite an interesting part of the story, that ability to sit separate from the crowd, which is when you're growing up in teenage years. Is
what people think of you is their business, not yours.
There you
Can't remember who said that. That's not mine.
First little sound bite of the podcast from James. Okay, so the music and the Kung Fu are running alongside, but again, the Kung Fu, you're taking it pretty seriously, you're doing grades, but then you also were that into it that they let you start teaching? Is this your first experience of coaching?
Yes, I think so. Because I was teaching guitar lessons as well.
Oh, wow.
Out my bedroom, which I forgot to mention. About a tenner for an hour.
There must have been some natural talent, because it sounds like you progressed pretty quickly with the guitar. Or was that just the obsessive nature of you were doing it so much?
I was watching TV and it was in my hand. I'd be noodling with the TV on, all of it. I was walking around the house with it on. So I think maybe there was some natural progression and some natural talent.
So how old were you when you started teaching guitar?
Probably about 14.
Really?
Which is about the same time I was, I think, probably teaching Kung Fu as well.
What do you think your Kung Fu instructors saw in you that led them to let you start getting a bit more involved in the coaching?
Free work.
God, it must have been more than that.
I don't know. I loved it. I guess.
Passion.
I guess so. Passion. Maybe at that age I could teach, because the teaching there it wouldn't have been as hands-on as now, obviously. I remember that I'd be taking part in demos, so I'd be the victim of the coach. And I think I was leading warm-ups and stretches, so I don't think it would be technique breakdowns or anything, but enough to be there and then let me help them out.
But even taking charge of a class of students at 14, 15 years old is quite a...
Guess so.
It's just James being...
I don't know. It's, again, the whole blasé thing. It's something that I never really thought about, and that I've never really been too, probably to my detriment really when I was younger, never really been too analysis paralysis, just go with the flow,
just
man.
Do.
Yeah, and it just worked. But they had a new class, so they just brought me over to help with that, I think. And I was a higher belt. I was like a purple couple away from black at the time.
Which again is a pretty quick progression up the rankings of the belt.
This is the other side of your traditional martial arts.
Is this where we need to get on to where you did your open mat competition and
Yeah.
realise that maybe Kung Fu wasn't quite as useful as you thought it might be?
I mean, as a personality enhancer and person maker, I guess it's helped me out.
In terms of its discipline and
absolutely, yeah. I do think traditional martial arts in terms of discipline for kids is brilliant, but self-defense and all that, not so good. We'll discuss in a minute.
Yeah.
And for me, that's probably what's helped me. But yeah, so we, again, with all this teaching and whatnot, we do sparring in the club, which just devolved into madness because obviously none of these blocks that were super elaborate worked. So you just end up flying at people and smashing faces. I found out very quick that belts don't mean anything. So although I was a purple belt at the time, my first ever sparring session, the kid with me, I'm going to beat you because I'm a higher belt. And I remember battering him and thinking, maybe it doesn't mean anything. And you turn up, any traditional martial art, you turn up, you pay your subs, you will get a black belt. Doesn't matter how good you are, eventually you'll get a black belt. But then, so I started doing sparring in the club and I could do it and I enjoyed it. Then we went to some open mat. Well, we went to some matted points karate, but it's obviously Kung Fu competitions.
Can we just explain what that is?
Points karate is essentially adult tag.
And also the concept of an open mat.
So an open mat tournament is that any club can turn up and take part and enter their fighters into this competition. Whereas a closed tournament is people of the same, either school or like a family of schools. So Kung Fu, or ours was Laogar Kung Fu, which was huge across the country. Anybody from Laogar Kung Fu could come to a closed tournament. And they're not on a mat. It's called mat, open mat. It's a flat mat on the floor. You fall over and you'll bounce off it. It's great. But then points karate is essentially, it used to be pretty hardcore. Now it is adult TIG. Score a point, stop the fight, start again. And all the, yes, 1-0.
So not like a real fight training. So what happened when you went to
an open mat that any gym could come to? Everybody who medalled, so got bronze, silver, gold, was from a kickboxing or a Thai boxing gym, where they actually spar and learn realistic combat defenses, run through realistic combat scenarios. I thought, that's strange. Maybe I should go to one of them, which I did. That quickly showed me how useless flowery traditional martial arts can be.
So were you beaten in this open mat by someone?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I can't remember who.
I don't think it matters. I think it's like that realisation of you going from that traditional
everyone
Eastern...
in the club. Yeah, everybody in my club and all the clubs got smashed.
So was that an instant, just like the minute that happened, you're like, maybe I'll stop Kung Fu and
have a look what that is.
Have a look at kickboxing.
Yeah, which I did there. We've got a very world-class kickboxing club, Winspers Martial Arts Centre, run by absolute world champion.
What did that feel like walking into that gym at that point with the realisation that, shit, probably most people in here can kick my ass. I've done, as you call it, flowery Kung Fu.
I can't really remember. Analysis paralysis wasn't really a thing. Just get involved. And I don't even think it was realising that being a small fish in a big pond was good. It was just go in there and learn straight away. Never kind of, I'm going to get beaten. No fear or anything. From what I remember, it might have been different at the time.
And what did you take over from the Kung Fu into the kickboxing?
Footwork. That's it. So points karate is great for your footwork. I remember sparring a couple of people and being like, oh yeah, you fight like a points fighter, because they knew what it was, and it's hard to hit you. It's like, oh great, excellent, because I don't like getting punched.
Yeah, who does?
Yeah, some people do.
Some people do, yeah, definitely. There are some people that do like that. But again, you made quite a quick progression within this kickboxing. You ended up at the Kickboxing World Championships. You were part of the England kickboxing team. So again, just started kickboxing, then fast track it almost in all of these things.
Yeah.
Is that just, again, I know you're very blasé, but you just set your mind to something and it's that discipline and determination to just go boom, boom, boom.
Yes, I guess so, because that's another thing I'd always wanted to fight. And then, so I wanted to be in a band, a world conquering band, whatever. Then I was going to be a world champion fighter of whatever.
Two just run side by side.
Of course, both of which definitely happened. I think part of it was I was always at the gym and doing as many classes as they could offer and trying to hang around here and there as often as I could. So I think they saw that. I made myself part of the furniture, not deliberately or anything. I just like being there.
Once again, your passion just shone through and they pick up on that and go, well, let's get him involved a bit more.
Yeah, because I was a bang average at best kickboxer, for sure. Average boxer with very bad kicks. So I don't really know how I got into the England team.
That's what I mean. You did. You made the England kickboxing team. You went to the kickboxing world championship. So you can't, I know you're being blasé and for once James is being modest, but you must have been pretty fucking good.
Delete what I just said. Well, again, maybe, but I was surrounded, that gym, especially at that time, was something really, really amazing. All my sparring partners were killers. So I was the worst of the bunch by far, just in the gym.
And that makes you improve pretty quickly, right?
Yeah. So I could at least, the sparring was different. So like how we spar, we do structured rounds. There it was just, you go spar him, off you go, which is fine. But it's very much, I learned to survive fast and not necessarily thrive. If someone world class was beating me up, I could at least last a round.
Yeah.
That's good. But I had some European and world champions as sparring partners, as well as Matt and James, so the owners, the Winsper brothers, Connor Porter, who went on to win loads of championships, Mike Clark, who went on to win loads of championships.
So you're just surrounded by amazingly talented people.
Yeah. And even the
elevates,
people,
right?
there were great people in the gym that wouldn't compete, but they'd spar, who could have been world champions. They just weren't interested in the competition aspect.
Did you always want to compete?
Yes. Yeah. Again, I think I always wanted to prove that I could be tough and hard and be a world champion, which I never was. But I think
Why do you feel like you wanted to prove that you could be tough?
I don't know. I think it's just what I've always wanted to do. There's bits of bullying in school, but I don't think any more than anyone else. Nothing too.
No, because that's very similar to me. I was raised by a single mum, sister, grandma, so I was always around women. I was all like, maybe I should do some fighting stuff to see if I can actually do it, or what sort of a man that I am as a teenager, or whatever that is. It's but
I think that's the same. Avenue. Yeah, like, can I do it?
Yeah,
it is in my opinion, the ultimate
and we'll definitely talk about that and the benefits of combat sports and martial arts and fighting, just for a bit of humility and to test who you really are when someone's trying to punch you in the face repeatedly
with more skill.
So what level did you get to? Because, as I say, kickboxing world championships and part of the England kickboxing team, that to me sounds like quite a high level.
It is, to a point. With kickboxing, you've got different governing bodies and no central governing body, so the quality control's not there. So you might have people who, they're in a team, like, I don't know, Team England or Team Spain, that have only had a fight or two, which one of them was me. I think at the time I was in the England team, I had a fight or two, like a proper full contact fight. I had loads of open mat fights. And they're not very good, but they're in there just because they can. Or some people have to earn their place, so I had to earn my place, really. We had really hard team training, which was like 3 hours of sparring and stuff like that, which I always loved. But whereas
you like testing yourself, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're always going to do bigger and better every time. Whereas you're boxing, your world champions, normally 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, they are world champion level, because there's a border control. You have to go through the certain systems. This is it.
Yeah. Was there any difficulty balancing the kickboxing with your music, or did it just run quite naturally simultaneously? It sounds like you had quite a busy time. I think so. Training, kickboxing, bands, gigs.
Again, at the time, it didn't seem that busy, but you're a kid, so I had nothing else to do.
All the time in the world when you're a kid and no responsibilities.
So it didn't feel that busy.
Did you feel like you were taking anything from the music into the fighting, or vice versa? Was there a skills overlap in some way?
I think with the humbling aspect of I will say martial arts, because you're still getting humbled in your traditional martial arts, but especially when you go to a place where you're being beaten up most sessions and learning that you're not the big I am, that gave me more of a fuck you attitude for my music, as in, I'm going to play these songs for you and you're going to like them, or you're not, and I don't care either way. So I'd have more of a stage presence for that. Whereas I've seen loads of bands, countless bands, just meek on stage because they're still self-conscious about whether the audience like it or not, and don't want to do anything to embarrass themselves. Who gives a fuck? There's nothing more embarrassing than being knocked out in front of people, which I've done. I was getting beaten in front of hundreds of people on open mat tournaments, or I've been knocked out in the ring. I was knocked out in the World Championships. Like, nothing more embarrassing than that, but just no one cares. And you go on stage, but no one fucking cares anyway. So
that's quite interesting.
Yeah. And then
the fact that the spotlight syndrome that we all have.
Oh, no one cares. Just
no one cares.
But
you were still at quite a young age taking those crossover skills and going, if I can get knocked out in front of 100 people, I'm not going to worry about missing a note, which most people in a gig wouldn't notice anyway.
Yeah.
Would they? That's the thing.
There was a period in one of my bands where we were writing songs so prolifically, and I wasn't practicing because it was easy stuff, that I'd forget the chord structures and play the wrong notes on the bass. This was where I'd be like, yeah, and be shrugging and laughing, and I'd turn, and the singer and the drummer both like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. The crowd, nonplussed.
They wouldn't have a clue, right?
Yeah. Did you hear the note where I went wrong? To my now wife or my mother who'd be there or whatever. Huh? Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll be going wrong.
Well, it's that thing, isn't it? Someone could compliment you 1,000 times, but if they give you one negative comment, you're only going to remember the negative comment, aren't you?
You might be doing a speech in front of 100 million people, and for the next hour or two after that speech, they're going to remember everything you say, and you're going to think, oh, that part where I slipped out a fart, hopefully that didn't come on the microphone. And if they did hear it, a week they're going to forget. Who cares?
But it's all these little lessons that you're learning, because I know where the journey goes, that I see now this nonchalant, no fucks given sort of attitude is actually a real benefit.
Yes. I think especially now in the age of everything online.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously a talented musician, talented kickboxer. Were you doing any coaching in kickboxing, or was it all student-based?
This was just as a student. Yeah, I didn't do the coaching at Winspers until post uni.
Okay. But this is where the music takes a bit more dominance, right?
Yeah.
So school, you're doing the music, you're doing your kickboxing, your martial arts, do the natural progression, went to A-levels, but wasn't for you, right?
Year one of my A-levels was brilliant. All of the classes were great. And I did music tech as well. They were both fantastic. Year two, there was, I don't even know what it was, a drastic shift in what the classes were about. Didn't enjoy any of them, including music and music tech. But I also
Which must have been frustrating, bearing in mind those are the ones that you're sort of like, this is my passion, and I'm now
it's probably, it may have been the first time that I had to come up against the whole talent versus hard work thing, and I didn't for a lot of time didn't have the hard work aspect together. That was probably still too immature. So if I just knuckled down and did my hard work, I would have got the A-levels. But because I didn't enjoy it, and I was so used to just doing what I want to do in my time, I was like, nah, getting out of here. And I had a big bust at the head of year as well.
So what did you do?
Quit, went to college, did a music performance course there, which was brilliant. But again, same thing. Although I was working hard per se, there was no kind of strife in what I needed. I wasn't struggling to work hard. It was all what I wanted to do. And college facilitated that, I'd say, in a good way. And I found it all quite easy. And I never really had to knuckle down when the chips were down, as it were.
Is that where your natural talent?
I guess so. If you call it natural talent. But
so this is your modesty again, but you've clearly, obviously got that. I believe you have. You're shaking your head at me because you're trying to be modest. I think
just, again, being obsessed and working hard to a point, that's natural talent. But then when you have to come up against stuff that you don't pick up straight away, well, I say straight away, you find difficult and then don't want to work on because it's not comfy.
What were the things that you were finding difficult?
In music, I didn't have, they call it an ear. I didn't have a very good ear. You could play me a scale and I could tell you what the scale was-ish. You play me a chord and I wasn't very good at hearing the chord. Single notes and all that, mostly fine.
But then how did you, when you were younger, analyse all those people that were playing and work out what they were doing?
Don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it was more I don't know, I guess in a song aspect, it would make sense to me. Whereas for someone to just sit in front of me on a piano and say, what chord is this?
Right.
Which is never going to happen.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to have context.
And then sight reading, I was awful at sight reading, which I hate. I still hate to this day.
But this course at college, this was much more music focused. So did that open, you know what it's like when you don't have to focus on the other stuff, of the other subjects?
I think it was my most fun and creative time for music that I had in my music career, if we call it a career. Everybody in the course was great. Again, a lot of talented musicians actually. And then when we moved up to year two, the year below us came in and they were all great as well. Really lovely people.
So
really
once
good
again,
players.
like in the kickboxing, surrounded by talented people.
Really good teachers as well. Very supportive. Actually would treat you like adults if you're missing classes and all that. They weren't there like, why wouldn't they? Just say, well, it's your course to fuck up and you've paid for it, so do what you want. Which I think I needed that as well because I was getting bored of school and education.
What, the monotony of, it's 9 to 4 every day?
I think more the teacher-student dynamic.
Mm.
I got bored of it, I think, just as I was starting my GCSEs. I had good grades, but I probably could have done better. And not doing homework and all that. Because I was like, what am I doing this for?
At this point, are you still just, I'm going to be in a great rock band? And
Especially with college, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously going to be in a world-conquering rock band, selling platinum albums. Easy, like that. Again, as a classic young man thinking the world's going to fall into your lap. Because I haven't had any resistance yet. Although I've been beaten up and whatnot with the martial arts. Still no real, hard work.
But here comes the bit where, again, you're probably going to be modest, but you're such a talented musician that the college are now saying, we think you should go to the Royal College of Music.
Yeah, which I should.
Which, again, some people might not even know that, thinking, why have you got a boxing coach on? Because there's underlying creative, I believe fighting is creative anyway, but there's an underlying creative story that runs alongside this, that you are a talented musician to reach the level of...
Not anymore.
But again, it's down to, I imagine, practice. At that time, you must have shown pretty exceptional things for them to go, we think you can get into the Royal College of Music.
There's songs that I played back then that I listen to now where I was like, how the hell did I play that? So I was doing some really, really good stuff. So yeah, I guess I didn't want to do uni at all. I shouldn't have gone. I wasn't ready.
Talk to me. Why did you not want to do uni?
I can't really remember, but it was probably half of it being like, I don't want to grow up and look after myself. And again, being very comfy the whole life, really, up to that point.
Did you feel like you've been a bit sheltered?
Even
though I feel like you've pushed
yourself,
looking
back, probably.
But from the story, I think you've pushed yourself out of your comfort zone multiple times.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I think I probably was. Yeah, who knows?
But the Royal College of Music, again, that's a next level thing. That's down in London. That's moving away from everything. It's university that potentially you didn't really think you wanted to do.
It's free money.
So talk to me a little bit about the Royal College of Music, because at this point you moved to London and it is all music, isn't it? It's like you're not doing any more fighting down there. You put that on hold.
Yeah, pure music. I'm still watching the fights, obsessively watching the UFC at that point as well. In my spare time, I'm doing little bits of practice, watching all the fights, getting very drunk and playing lots of video games. But the course, so it's the Royal College of Music. They had a subsect called Guitar X. So it wasn't, the Royal College of Music is all classical stuff, which I like. I don't want to play that. And then they have the pop world, but it's not pop, obviously. It's contemporary music, that's the word. I worked my balls off to get in there. I went for the first interview and they said, you need to do this and this, which I could do apart from one thing which I'd never heard of, which is a thing called the caged system, which is a way of playing guitar. Then worked with my guitar teacher here at the time to do that. Smashed it, got in there. I was excited to go at that point. And again, I think it was more moving away from home, living on my own, thinking, now I'm a big boy.
Did it feel like some sense of achievement in some way?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I've moved away from my parents at 19 to London to be a musician, which didn't really happen. But the main problem was, one of the main problems was I'd done all that work to get in. And then the first year of the course was doing all the stuff to get to the level I was already at. I hate doing that. If I go running, I can't loop around a track twice. I hate it. So I've done all this work.
That's interesting.
I don't know, again, probably my modern day autism or ADHD.
No, I don't know though. I guess in a similar way that was similar to me. I went and worked in a photography studio. So everything that the university students were learning on their first and some of the second year, I've been like, I've done this all day.
Yeah. It wasn't so, because obviously they knew way more than I did. And they were all the teachers there were industry professionals, still and now. Amy Winehouse's guitarist was there as a teacher. A guy who played for Boyzone and Backstreet Boys and blah, blah, blah. One of the names I do remember was John Wheatcroft, and he's a phenomenal jazz guitarist. There were so many well-established industry musicians. So it wasn't that they were somewhat teaching us to suck eggs. I get it now. They were trying to get everyone at the same level, because some people get in because they pay the money. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. They didn't really like the way I play guitar. I didn't really like most of the teachers. I thought it was very cliquey. But I had a good time. I had a good time partying and made
socially
friends.
You had a good
time.
Yeah. But what was the straw that broke the camel's back where you were just like, this is not for me, I'm done?
I think, I started to not turn up to some classes, stuff like that, being like, well, But again, if I would have just knuckled down and put the hard work in, it would be in a world-class band selling multi-platinum albums.
But like you say, with a lot of the things, if you're not provided the stimulus to give you that excitement to keep something going, what's the point?
Yes.
Did you feel anything about the sense of the qualification thing? It's like, well, I can play guitar, I can play the bass, I can play these musical instruments. Why do I need a piece of paper to...
Yeah, and I've always felt that way with the whole belt thing. Like, just because I've got a degree doesn't mean I'm any better than someone who's playing in their bedroom.
But I think that's down to most... It's a bit different if you're doing a maths or a science degree. You've got to get the right answers. But with anything creative, it's like, I've never been asked once what I got at degree level. I just want to see what pictures I can take.
Yeah.
So...
Proof's in the pudding for creative.
Yeah, exactly. So how did that feel, that decision to go, right, bearing in mind you are quite a motivated human, and when you put your mind to something, I guess, knowing you want to achieve it. Was there some, I don't want to say sense of failure, but did you feel a bit like, well,
there probably
coming back with my tail between my legs? When I was like, I'm going to London to be this big star.
Now I'm back in Bewdley. There probably was. I can't really remember, but I imagine there'd be, from me at the time, again, didn't really mature and get too analytical till later on. There was probably some boisterousness and bravado, like, well, shit anyway, which I did think it was. But again, if I would have just knuckled down and done the work, it maybe could have led to something more professional. And if I would have actually sat back and reflected on that, then maybe I'd realise, and it probably helped me out later.
But hindsight, isn't it? So
2020.
And we are where we're supposed to be.
You are where you put yourself.
That's what I mean. Well, every decision you've made has led you to
being trapped in a room in here.
Trapped in a room with me talking about you.
He's locked the door and I can't get out.
So you come back, I don't want to say tail between your legs, because you've got that kind of attitude where it's no fucks given anyway. So I'm sure maybe a little bit internally, but outwardly you'd probably like say, fuck it, it was shit anyway.
Yeah.
So what happens when you come back from the Royal College back to our sunny little Midlands town?
Bizarrely, one of the first things I did was go to my friend's 20th birthday party, where they had a band whose bassist had just left and they needed someone to play. Like, oh, you play guitar? Yes, I do. You want to be in our band? Ah, go on then.
Did you prefer playing normal guitar or bass?
Normal guitar. Bass is great. Well, playing any instrument's great, but guitar was my jam.
What was it about the two? Because obviously a bass, you can't be quite as expressive.
Oh, math.
Oh, here we go. Is this where you're going to it's going to give me the whole slap the bass?
Jaco Pastorius, end of argument. Check him out.
People, go and
yeah, no, you can't. It's obviously just lower. It's just an octave lower, mate. No, I mean, if people who I'm not that kind of player. People who are really good at bass are just as expressive. It just sounds different. Your lead guitar's nice because it's got such range, whereas you arguably.
And I suppose it's obviously the more prominent sound. Because so
I think you probably have to be.
There's my naivety about. Sorry, bass players. I've offended a whole genre of music.
A better musician to play bass because there's a more limited arsenal of tools to wow the audience with.
And you wowed the audience on both.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, so you went to and you joined a band. So the music was still there. Did you come back and go straight back to the gym, or?
Yes, yeah, because I did want to come back and get into MMA straight away, but this was well before mixed martial arts was prominent. So went straight back to Whispers, and yeah.
And is this sort of where you realise as well that you're perhaps better at punching people than you are kicking people?
Still kicked for a while, but yeah. Yeah, because this is where I came back and then went to the Worlds. So I came back, Team England.
Oh, of course, yeah. The timeline is, So you went away, you didn't fight for over, a year and a half, something like that, while you were in London, and then you came back and then straight back into training.
Still shadowboxing in my room, push-ups, sit-ups, all that kind of stuff.
So you still had that element of discipline.
Yeah. Well, I think I was just bored in my bedroom. I think the love of playing and practicing guitar had been sucked out of me, so I needed something to do. It wasn't just video game time.
So came back to the Midlands, jumped straight back into kickboxing, straight back into a band.
Yeah, that's this area. You come back and you go straight back into what you were doing before, which is great. I love this area. I think it's very nice. It's very picturesque, very beautiful. It's also a black hole of keeping people in the same
Surely it is what you make.
It is always what you make.
There you go. What does work look like for you then? So you've got out of education. Yeah. What are you doing? What's the plan?
As little as possible. What was I doing straight away? I was labouring for my neighbour who was an electrician, which is a job I should not be anywhere near anything on building sites. So I can't do anything manly or skilled in those regards because I'm terrible. I hate DIY and I hate all that. But I did that for a bit. And
Are these just means to an end sort of things?
Yeah.
Like need to earn some money, pay for gum shields and guitar strings.
Just stuff. Yeah, car. Yeah, all that stuff. Because I remember I upset my neighbour. He thought I meant that electricianing wasn't a proper job. I didn't use that term. I said it's not the job for me because he was like, why don't you just work here forever? I said, no, I need a proper job for me.
But what did a proper job look like for you?
Anything I enjoy, I reckon.
Yeah.
Got
for everybody.
No experience. Yeah. So yeah, did the electrician labouring for a bit. I can't remember why that stopped.
Probably because you told him it wasn't a proper job.
Yeah. He's a good bloke as well. No, I didn't say it wasn't a proper job. It's just not a job I could do.
This is where the fire service.
Yeah, so then I went into the fire brigade. I found the love of a good woman by this point, who's now my wife, who actually gave me a boot up the arse and made me start being disciplined and driven rather than just driven.
A bit more future focused, maybe.
I guess so. But yeah, she saw the sign.
She wanted a good prospect of a man.
Yeah, she didn't want to lose her. You're just noodling in your bedroom again, which is fair enough. Yeah, so she booted me up the arse to apply for on-call firefighter job.
And talk to me a bit about that, because that's not a full-time firefighter.
You are on call more than you would be for full-time.
Right.
And it's one of the best jobs I've ever had.
So what, they pay you to be on call, or you only get paid?
Yeah, you get a retainer per year, can't remember what it was, not a lot, and then you get paid per hour for all your training and every time you're called out.
Did you feel like you had more of a purpose going through the
It was a job I was proud of, absolutely. I loved it. There was everything about it, all the training, all the courses, very much out of the comfort zone. It was very, like, back then, it wasn't like militant army style training, but it was still had fringes of that. So we would get disciplined and shouted at and screamed at and put under pressure, which I liked, and all that kind of stuff, which was good. And then once I'd qualified and everything, the team we had, it was great. Half the crew were old guard, and then half the crew were new, like everyone under mid-20s. And everyone got on, everyone was really good, healthy working atmosphere. Again, much like my childhood, all your questions were encouraged and experiment and do this and do that. And like encouragement of learning and all that was very much encouraged.
That's right. But with those strange contracts and like call out stuff, is that, dare I say, is that financially sustainable?
It was. I was lucky at the time because
we need some more call outs tonight. We need some more road traffic accidents.
I had a few dodgy mates who'd set fires for me. No, we had 2 or 3 massive fires that went on for months in the area that really sorted me out financially. It was great because there's no risk of damage to any other property or life. It was just sit and watch it burn 12 hours.
Oh, wow. And get paid for it.
And get paid and get free food for it from pizza, McDonald's.
Oh, wow.
All the stuff you don't really want to eat, but
that's just all the shit that you just don't want in you. What led to you leaving the fire service if you did find it rewarding, and obviously you could have all the McDonald's you could eat?
Yeah. And again,
not fat.
I didn't get fat. How dare you? That's me now. I needed a proper job, a job with a more consistent income.
Yeah.
So yeah, I qualified. I did all my PT qualifications and all that during this time. Then I looked for PT work and there was none. Doing air quotations for your listeners. There was none. But again, didn't actually put myself out there because I still wasn't quite mature enough to be like, actually, I'm going to go to this gym and do it from the ground up. Just so I wanted the perfect job for me at the time, which doesn't exist in this kind of industry.
What made you run that PT course alongside the fire service? Is it just, again, something you wanted to do, or was it?
Yeah. Something I wanted to do.
And you had the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Around
again,
work.
Nothing but time. Still living like a teenager, really.
And how old are you at this point, should we say?
20, 21. Not an adult, really.
No.
I don't no clue of what life actually is.
Still don't.
Yeah, not an adult now. Yeah, so all that was going on. Needed a consistent income. Got a Wi-Fi job, which paid well at the time, but cut into the hours that I could be on call for. And then the guy who ran our area in the fire service just got rid of it. Although he just spent all the money on training me up. Just now, not needed. So I was gutted. But going straight into a job which was new, fresh and exciting at the time with the Wi-Fi stuff. Learning again.
What do you mean the Wi-Fi stuff? What was that?
I was
Installing?
installing industrial Wi-Fi and CCTV and wireless solutions to anybody's problems.
So you went from being an electrician that you didn't consider a proper job,
Yeah,
to against back cable pulling and,
Yeah.
and stuff again.
but I was learning more with the electrician. Obviously, I couldn't really do any of the interesting stuff because I'm not qualified or anything. And they let me do plugs and lights, like,
Yeah.
but any of the good stuff where I could kill myself, I was allowed. Whereas Wi-Fi, I was learning about all of it, the whole thing, how to do surveys. I was doing some of the sales and brokering some of the deals.
Did you feel a bit more like an adult at this point?
Yes, probably. I still don't feel like an adult.
No, I know, but I know that we're both big man children. But that sense of that quote unquote proper job, I can do this. It's got prospects.
Yeah, I could definitely see a future in it. The only way was up. In terms of I could get quals, I'd do this. I could learn coding. I learned how to do fiber optic cabling and all that kind of stuff. I'm a big boy.
Yeah, I'm a big grown up. You're wearing your big boy pants.
Look at
now.
me. Yeah.
Okay. But then full-time job, does that leave you much time for...
With the corporate world, Matthew, there's not much time for fun.
I was going to say much time for fighting, much time for music. What's going on?
So yeah, the fire brigade got knocked on the head. I was still in the band, the same band, still having band practices and whatnot. And the start of this job was much more 9 to 5 and go out on site every now and again and do the installs. So I could still do all my kickboxing, which was slowly morphing into boxing because I couldn't really kick very well. And then, yeah, the company themselves got more and more successful and bigger without increasing the staff per se. So I was doing more and more of the work. And then that's when all the creative stuff just stopped through no choice of my own, really, just work hours.
But what did that do to your physicality, your mental health, those sorts of things?
I got fat, miserable, depressed, fringe, suicidal, panic attacks.
Are you all right to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely.
Because this is, from a man that everyone sees today, this is...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I will always talk about like my mental health struggles and all that stuff.
So you are starting to struggle. That taking away your physicality.
Yeah.
You're probably working strange hours, so grabbing food, eating shit, like you say. Maybe I can't imagine you fat, but like I imagine you're not in the shape that...
I was chunky, probably like close to 14 stone of nothing athletic.
Hey, sorry for interrupting. This is just a quick reminder that if you're enjoying this episode, there are a couple of really easy ways that you can support the podcast. You can hit the support the show link in the show notes, or consider grabbing yourself something from the Creative Noahland shop on the website. And don't forget, community members get free shipping on all orders. So, before you buy anything, be sure to join. Thanks again for being part of the Creative Noahland community, and now, let's get back into it. But the mental health side of things, you're burning the candle at both ends, essentially, but only with the job, working strange hours, 16-hour days, away, coming back, no time, no regularity for your training.
Yeah.
This is where your mental health starts to suffer, right?
Yeah, big time. Absolutely.
In what way?
Again, I think I was still so used to being selfish with my time that I couldn't anymore. And that really frustrated me. I remember sometimes finishing a job on time. I mean, I'll get back in time to go training. Classic English motorways, getting stuck in traffic. I remember screaming at my steering wheel and trying to rip it up.
Yeah.
No exaggeration.
Because you needed that outlet, that physical outlet.
I can't believe I'm not going to the gym again. And yeah, and then my weekends were spent doing, I remember I was buying loads. I started collecting watches and whiskey and again, trying to learn all the stuff about that, I guess, just for something to keep learning about, which I didn't get about watches or whiskey.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford anything decent or anything worth reselling or anything like that.
Do you think that was just, as I say, some sort of trying to focus yourself on something that wasn't the work?
I was just trying to consume and be happy, I think.
Which we talk about a lot, don't we? The idea of consumption and be happy. But your mental health suffered so much that you were starting to feel a bit anxiety, panic attacks.
Yeah.
To the point where you went and spoke to someone, yeah?
Yeah. I remember my first panic attack. I didn't really know what was going on. And I was doing a really boring aspect of the Wi-Fi job, which is punching down cables. It's monotonous. It takes ages. It's fiddly. I hate fiddly jobs and just everything about it sucks. So I was doing that and I just felt like I needed to run. And I felt a bit like, tingly in the fingers. Just I couldn't explain it. And like, it's the guy I was working with, it's like, I think I'm going to go for a run. I feel bizarre. He was like, oh, you probably had too much coffee, because I was smashing the coffee at that point. Then it kept happening, and then it kept being like going dizzy and stuff like that, and all the usual panic attacks. Then I can't remember what caused me. I think I was probably chatting to my wife about it, who wasn't my wife then. And she's a nurse. She was saying, oh, you need to speak to someone. And I can't remember what the trigger was. I remember at one point my sister was pregnant and got in a car crash, and that sent me, I had to leave the job and everything and come home. It sent me all types of anxious, like sick. I can't be here, got to go. Just abandoning the job. So yeah, but I don't know what the actual cause was, but it needed to happen. So yeah, went to the doctors and they were great. And the drugs they put me on, sertraline, was fantastic.
Why?
It just worked. I was still miserable and not happy, but I wasn't having panic attacks or anything anymore.
Right.
It was brilliant. I always recommend speak to the professionals, but the drugs aren't the cure. It's your lifestyle. It's change once you.
I was going to say that we've spoken previously. If you potentially, I mean, this again is hindsight. If you'd have had the regular training, that regular
I don't think it would have ever been an issue.
You don't. Yeah, no. That's what I mean. You don't think it would have ever been an issue?
No, I don't think so. Because I'd still be competing. So all my competitions stopped. I had a couple of fights where I couldn't do any of the proper training. I was crap in the ring, just mentally not there, and being beaten by people I should have been.
Did that add to the pressure that you were
I think
seeing?
so, yeah. Because my identity was I fight, and I fight good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't happening anymore. Yeah, I think it all.
But again, goes back to that whole thing of, like both of us preach now, you've got to give yourself a fighting chance. You've got to be looking after your body, sleeping, exercising, stimulating yourself in the ways that you need to.
Yeah.
But that's, again, it's quite an important part of the story, you suffering with this. And recognising, I guess, that things were missing.
Because I knew that it was the lack of training anyway. You know, even knowing what the problem was didn't really help. But I remember driving and thinking I need to crash this van into the side of that bridge just to...
Really, that extreme?
I would never, I would have never done it. But thinking, like,
but for even those,
I also remember leaving my drive at 3 a.m. to go to jobs and thinking, if this is my life, this is fucking shit.
Yeah.
This is what adult working life is like. I don't want it. But then sort it out. I was lucky with my whole kind of very fringe suicidal, but very much depressed and anxious life. I had the way out, which I'm sure you're going to go on to. Myself and my missus moved to Australia, and I had that date set. So there was always, originally when I spoke to the doctor, they put me on beta blockers just so I don't have panic attacks, because 2017, we're moving away. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I did have that out, which I guess is way easier than a lot of people have.
And this is where it did. It was quite the change, wasn't it? Because when 2017 came, you and Harriet went out, got your working visas, and went out with the initial idea of just travelling around Australia.
Travelling around Australia and working, but also looking at potentially making it our permanent home.
And how did you feel when you stepped off that plane?
Unbelievably great. Instantly.
Just instant?
Instantly. Everything was fresh and new. It was like scenes from a movie where all the lighting's perfect. I was like,
yeah.
I remember stepping off the plane, we went to Coogee Beach where we first lived, and the pigeons in Australia look the same, apart from they got these like long spikes on the top of their head of feathers. Everything's better here.
Even the pigeons
look
are better.
At that haircut. And yet, instant relief straight away.
Did you come off the antidepressants and stuff?
So I was supposed to finish the course that I was on. Can't remember how long they gave me loads of pills.
Oh, really?
And then some to take over there. So you've got to finish. I was still taking them. And then I realized every time I took them, I started getting anxious again. So I got to the point where so this is
really?
when I didn't need them anymore. I guess that's then
they made you,
because the side effect of sertraline is anxiety, which is great for an anti-anxiety drug.
Okay.
So I was taking them and feeling really bad. I was like, I'm just going to take one every other day. And that worked for a bit. And then I started feeling bad again. And I'm going to take half every other day, and then just came off and I was fine. And that was that.
So that new stimulus and change of new environment.
Again, I think the whole, where I've always liked to learn things, now I was learning a whole life. I need to, again, with my wife making me much more of a driven, disciplined to a point bloke, go get yourself a job, you fat loser.
And I said, as I say, because I mean, you moved over there. Harriet's a nurse, isn't she? So she walked straight into a job, presumably.
I said to her before we went over, I'm not doing anything apart from boxing coaching. That's what I want to wrangle my full-time job to be. And we'll give it a couple of months. And if I don't find anything, then I'll do like a bar job or something and manage to get a job in boxing coaching straight away.
How?
Being an absolute legend.
And so modest. As
being
ever.
Full of bullshit. Walking around the city, looking for things, going into boxing gyms and training, meeting some people and this and that. I saw a gym as I was on a bus journey, which was a chain at the time. I called up, they didn't have any work. They recommended somewhere else in Bondi Junction. Yeah, got the job, did the interview, got the job for 4 hours a week.
Is this PTing or boxing coaching?
It was part circuit training, part boxing coaching. And to start with, you weren't allowed to PT. So it was just pay per hour. You're in there. So I was in there 4 hours a week. I was getting paid 4 hours a week. Very quickly, they realised I knew what I was doing. And
But you geared everything, obviously before you came, you realised that you were a better puncher than you were a kicker.
Mm.
Before you left for Australia, was boxing more of a dominance then? Have you sort of...
Yeah, I'd fizzled out there. I was still at the kickboxing gym. They were flirting with the idea of getting their amateur boxing licenses.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I was going to do that, which never quite materialised, which was fine. I was doing white collar boxing in the meantime, and I was just sparring all the people who were trying to kick me with just my hands. So it's fine.
Okay. So you head out to Australia, you find this gym, and you said the minute you hit the bag in the gym, the bloke was like, "Oh,
so
you've got
yeah,
the job."
that was So the first one, the one in Sydney in Bondi, they gave me the job. Then we left. We were going to settle in Sydney. Then we went to Melbourne for Christmas. We had more friends in Melbourne anyway, and we just preferred Melbourne's vibe. So then I left the Sydney one, found one in Melbourne, and then had the interview for that.
Oh, so sorry. So it was in Melbourne that you just started whacking the bag.
Injured my back during the interview because, again, I was still fat and unfit at this point.
Oh, really?
We'd only been in Australia a couple of months, if that. So I was doing all this crazy, stupid sled pushing and then hitting the bag and then doing this and that and this. And I can't remember what move I did.
Yeah.
I think I've got to go, Matt. And from the first second you hit the bag, I was going to give you the job.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So what's that like in Melbourne? Because you said Melbourne's a very different city. It's a big space, but with less people, and your community and where the gym was, you were building this really good...
Yeah, it's lovely. It was quite an affluent family, small area, Ashburton. It's called. Very nice, but very wealthy. The gym was quite new, I think. Maybe I'd been there a couple of years. And then I joined it, welcomed with open arms by all the members. I got on really well. He's still a good friend of mine now with the guy who ran it, Simon. And then I met another guy, Adam Millgate, there, who now has his own gym in Melbourne, who we got on really well. He became my main training partner. It was great, yeah. I could PT there a bit. Still bits of circuit training, lots of boxing, just great fun.
You doing any music in Australia?
No. My music life is now on hold and still on hold now.
But this is where the boxing becomes a much more dominant feature, isn't it?
Absolutely. Now it's my life.
Yeah.
It was always my life to a point, but now it is my way of paying the bills.
Building the experience in Australia, that was helpful, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But your intention was to stay in Australia.
I would have loved it. And I had lots of people offering sponsorships to stay there and all that kind of thing. Especially on the leaving party, we had loads of people coming up. Oh, if you would have said. But my wife, and she was absolutely correct as she normally is, the next kind of chapter in our life was marriage and kids. And having that family support here really been beneficial for us.
Really important, isn't it? When
her family wouldn't have been able to fly over there. My dad would never have wanted to fly over there.
Yeah, and like you say, you're building your young family, you're getting married, all these things. You
proper adult stuff.
You're a proper big boy now, James. You're doing all this stuff, and being around that support network is important, however much it must have been hard to move back from. You said you built a really good community of people.
Yeah.
Say your boxing coaching was taking off.
Yeah, so myself and Adam, we moved to another gym over there. Within a year, we made it one of the hottest boxing
places
gyms
to be
in Melbourne. Yeah, we'd smash that place.
And didn't you have loads of really cool fighters training through your...
Just loads of cool clients, a couple of fighters. I worked at another one as well where it was just bizarre. Again, the beauty of all combat sports gyms is there is such an eclectic mix of people that are all getting on. I'd have people who work themselves out of poverty or like homelessness and all that, or were still homeless but coming in and training and mixing with some unbelievable rich elite people.
Not also that, was this where you did stuff with Tony Jeffries came to your place?
So I met Tony Jeffries.
Tony
Yeah.
Jeffries, for anyone who doesn't know, is a British boxer.
I think he was a bronze medalist or silver medalist in the Olympics, a very gifted amateur boxer, went pros, and the only boxer to sell out the Sheffield Arena on his pro debut, which is impossible. He did it. Had a load of fights, broke his hands, had to retire, and he now has he had the leading boxing gym in LA for a while, and now he has the leading online platform for boxing in the world.
His YouTube channel and Instagram and social media is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy, great advice as well, though,
Yeah.
a lot of the time.
Taught me a lot of things, more about the business side than the boxing side.
Such as?
All of the social media. I was not on social media at all during all this stuff. I had my personal Instagram page, which I posted maybe one photo on every 6 months or 7 months. And then he was like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. There was one guy with us when we met him who was already doing it all, and he had clients out his eyeballs, no advertising or anything, just having a good time. And then Tony Jeffries gave us the blueprint of how to get clients through social media. Now that's what I do.
And then you brought that back. You and Harriet moved back to England.
Yeah. At one point there was a bit of a wobble, like, oh God, I'm going to have to get a job in Sainsbury's or something again. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me. Bills have got to be paid though, because I thought I've gone from somewhere where they do have a lot of money. Melbourne is a place where there's loads of clients. Everyone's willing to spend. You get paid loads in Australia. Enough money to have fun and do things as well as save and pay your bills, to come back to, again, a small town, not tons of money.
It's not a huge opportunity as well.
Not a huge opportunity. And just thinking, oh God, it's not going to work. I won't be able to do any PT stuff. That would be the end of my boxing career. Straight to being miserable.
Was that quite a daunting prospect in some
To
respects?
start with, yes. But then again, I was just chatting I've got friends who do it, who PT and all that at the time. And well, if they can do it, then I can do it. Not that they're morons or anything like that.
No, not that. But
There's
obviously with your
everyone-
experience that you've had in Australia, the business side of things, Tony Jeffries, social media, are you thinking come back and make this a thing?
Yeah. Exactly the same attitude with when we went to Australia. I'm going to make it my full-time job, whether I have to get a part-time job whilst I do it or what.
And this is where you start doing the PTing for, I don't know if I should name a household name, the gym group in the UK. You're a PT within that system, right?
Brilliant.
What does that look like for you?
Working in retail.
Is that essentially...
my first shift. Got the job. The guy who ran the place, brilliant dude, very, very nice, very knowledgeable PT, and gave me really good vibes going in there on the first interview. Went in there, need a job, done all this, blah, blah, blah. Interview this day. Went there, met him. Oh, yeah, perfect. Then had my first shift. You have to work for them for 12 hours a week, which pays your rent, which is another reason I went there. There wasn't an actual handing over of cash that I didn't have. I'm always happy to give, I'm happy to give my time. So give your time, pay your rent, and then blah, blah, blah. And my time for the first shift was spent there talking to people who didn't want to be spoken to, cleaning, walking around. I couldn't say fuck or bugger, which I was so used to. Matthew knows what I'm actually like in person. I was so used to being that person. It just wasn't for me. I remember going home, speaking to my wife, saying, hate it.
Yeah.
But I need to do it. It was a necessary evil, but this isn't my vibe, man.
And this is where sooner or later we're getting close to the bit where you were so lucky you get to meet me.
Yes. So lucky. Yeah, so I found a gym that was much more my vibe, wrangled a good deal, which worked for everybody involved, met lovely people such as yourself. And fit that place like a glove and loved it again. Not that I fell out of love with PTing or anything, but
when you focus down just on the boxing, you're so much happier, right?
Yeah, and it's niche, so it just gives me a bit of edge in an area around here where there are a lot of PTs and gyms. It's a boxing coach, but also a boxing coach who knows what they're doing. You get this niche in the boxing coach world as well.
Yeah. So for the next 5 years, we built our friendship.
We did.
Working and doing stuff. And I suppose, is this over the time where COVID?
Yeah. So we came back end of 2019.
I walked straight into COVID.
Oh, well, got straight into the gym group, then left the gym group and started at the gym I was at, Nick Fit, 2020, January 2020. And then when did COVID happen?
March. April.
Yeah. So March, lost my job.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been anywhere long enough to claim any money off the government or anything like that. So I had a retainer off my wife.
Really?
It's brilliant. It's like, here's your £200 for this month.
Oh, bless her. Again, because Harriet being a nurse, I suppose she's straight into it, front line in it.
Front line, super stressed, working really hard. For a minute, we had to live in separate houses, because obviously we came back to live with our parents because we don't have property here. My parents live on the same land as my sister and brother-in-law, and they were immunocompromised. So they didn't want Harriet there if she was in hospital.
God.
So she was at her mum and dad's and I was at mine.
Oh, no.
But I was doing, again, with the social media beast and Tony Jeffries' advice, I was doing 3 online classes for free a day on Instagram and all that, which worked really well. Had some people then doing video call PT, which was paying some bills. Can't remember when they lifted the thing so you could do one-to-one PT outside and then hit the ground moving.
Yeah, I remember lots of those, you doing lots of pad work in the park
Smashed.
and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Loved it. Most people have half an hour with me, some hours, but I'd go to the park for 6, maybe have someone at 8, shadow box and all that. And then my next person will come in and they'll just have a really staggered day. But
are you back to playing music now? You're back home and
No.
Not even just as a hobby?
Every now and again, I'll noodle on the guitar for a little bit and think, God, I'm awful, and put it away. Or I'll get it out and play chords for my demanding wife. Play a Britney Spears song. And I'll play a Britney Spears song.
A Britney Spears song.
Or I'll get out the
that
guitar.
Hard rock legend that is Britney Spears.
Yeah, I like Britney Spears, to be fair. Max Martin, a genius songwriter, wrote all her stuff. I like that. And then I'll play some songs for my daughter who just puts her hands all over the string and steals my plectrum.
Fair enough. So this is where we start needing to talk about you going, I've got bigger plans for this. I don't want to be a...
Would you say this is where we start talking about the creativity?
Potentially. There's creativity in what you've done after leaving the gym because you wanted bigger and better things and you've started the Jab Lab. You've built a brand, you've built a social media platform, you've built a gym, you've built a great team of people that come to the gym.
Even before that, part of the mad scientist aspect of being a PT is if you're good at it, you develop individual plans and progressions for each individual client, which is really hard to do for a contact sport where you're not allowed to make contact with people because of COVID. And there's all your creative problem solving with that. Creating drills, all this stuff is where in Australia, where I really knuckled down and started being disciplined. And I need to get better at all of this. So I've got to actually work.
It's funny because there's an underlying level of discipline that runs through your whole life. But then there's also hard. This like, fuck that, I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, that's where I don't want to do that, but I've got to do that. Health and safety courses, this and that. And even in my own training is very much free and easy. And then now, because I've got to be the best in the room for the coaching, I need perfect jabs, perfect crosses. I need to shadow box with this and make a methodical, strategic way of getting better myself, which then went into my coaching. That's how I coach people. And yeah, it's
because it is different. I mean, a fun fact, little known fact about me, but I was once an instructor registered with the British Combat Association as well. So it's not all like you can be a great boxer fighter, but coaching it is like, I didn't have it until I started doing that. I was like, oh, you've got to know about health and safety, heart problems, medical things.
Risk assessment.
Like that. Like we are so not risk assessment people.
Yes, I am. I've got a qual.
But yeah, obviously with the Jab Lab, you're fully insuranced and risk assessment up. But there's a whole other level to being a coach than just knowing how to throw a jab, throw a cross, throw, in my case, punch someone in the throat and
gouge out their
eyeballs.
Yeah, absolutely. And lots of really excellent fighters are terrible coaches.
Did you find that crossover a little bit tricky, bearing in mind?
I think I was always a better coach than, looking back, always a better coach than fighter.
The intricacies, the health and safety, the risk assessment, because it's all the stuff that you didn't like at uni, the boring stuff. I've got to learn this because that's the way they do it, or
admin. I hate computers.
Yeah. But that just shows the want that you have.
So the Christmas before the Jab Lab opened, I got all the gym ready with the painting and getting it to look how I wanted to look and getting the branded gloves and all their stuff and all that. And then my Christmas was spent doing admin. But again, it was boring, but I had to do it. And
it's the necessary evil, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to do it to get it all ready and it be legitimate and no stone unturned. I need this and I need that. And it was great after doing it.
How did it feel opening your own gym?
I don't know.
Are you going to be all blasé again? You must.
I'm a blasé man.
You're not. There's a sense of achievement.
Yeah, but I always want the next thing. So now I opened it with, I'm going to open this gym. And some of my clients, my one-to-one clients, came straight into members. Then I brought in some members before it even opened in January. So I knew I was coming into a somewhat populated class environment. So it's like, right, now what I've got to do is push on. So I've got so many members that I need the next place. that's where I'm at now. So it was great opening my gym, and I absolutely love it. I love what it's slowly becoming, like more so seeing everyone make friends. So like you making friends with this person, holding pads for that, and then seeing that people are actually taking stuff on board and enough so that they can coach.
Should we talk a little bit about that then? Because we are very lucky. We've got a wicked community at the gym, but we're all very, what's the best way to word this?
Different.
Yeah, that too. But there's also that camaraderie, the support network, the place to talk, a place to decompress, it's amazing how fast you forget your troubles when someone's trying to punch you in the face.
Absolutely.
Sort of thing.
So we've got a member. So this kid's only been a member of the gym for a few months, but I've sparred with him now 20 rounds, if not more. Me and him will already have a very strong and different relationship to people I haven't sparred because we have now pushed each other. It's nothing like, oh, macho, but just I've seen where he breaks and he hasn't seen where I break.
No one ever has.
But yeah, it's why it's such a special environment as well. The training classes stuff is lovely and really, really good, and everyone helps each other. And you're breaking physically because of being tired and all that, but you don't really break mentally. Whereas to then go the next level, it's even better. You might be sparring with someone and something happens that just catches you off guard, and you'll have an emotional breakdown, which happens all the time. There are so many. My whole sparring career, including myself, there's always tears and breakdowns. But then the person that's just beat the crap out of you is going to pick you back up. Like, no, come on, you got to get on with it, and they're going to push you enough. Whether it's to just keep beating you, but with encouragement, or whether it is a full like, look, just relax, it doesn't matter, and we'll get back to it and have an actual debrief. Whatever you need, they'll do it, and then that can write. Some of my best friends are the murderers row I mentioned earlier, Matt, James Winsper. I can go talk to them. And we just know each other more. And like time's never passed before.
And there is something about that, isn't it? We've mentioned it before, the humbling element of walking into a combat gym where you might think you're the big I am, but someone 2 stone lighter than you absolutely batters you, or
10 years
you
younger.
batter someone that's much heavier or whatever than you.
Yeah.
There's a leveling bit to it, isn't it? And we'll talk a bit about your social media, but we get it all the time, don't we, on your YouTube channel, when people are live and they're going, I could beat you up and I could do that. And your response is, you know where the gym is, come down. Because...
And I've been beaten up before and I'll be beaten up again. I don't mind.
And there is something in that, isn't it? We
Yes,
talk
absolutely.
a lot about fighting, combat sports, discipline, but we talk a lot about that, don't we, in the gym and out of the gym as friends, about it's that classic Mike Tyson thing, is it? Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Big time.
And that there's something about that humility and that leveling aspect of combat sports and being put under that pressure. Understanding yourself when you're put under physical pressure is different to just going, oh, I'm quite strong mentally, I've got some mental fortitude. It's very different, like you say, when you're exhausted, you're under stress, someone's trying to punch you in the face, or
repeatedly.
You do the Shark Tank stuff. In my testing, I had to fight people for 15 minutes, just relentlessly, and you never know what the time's going to be.
Yeah.
And you fought 4 minutes in, you think, God, this has got to be nearly over, but you're not even close. That holding a mirror up to yourself in a way of what you can do, what you're capable of.
It's probably why I like it. Again, with always being selfish with my time, boxing's a selfish sport, especially you do have a team and everything around you. It's all about you, how good you are, how you deal with this, how you can learn. And it's giving you very violently and in an upfront way, you are shit here, deal with it. And you can either, oh, no, I'm just going to avoid that. Or you can go, right, I keep getting smashed in the face with this technique. How am I going to defend that technique? And what are the fun ways of doing it? Or whether it's just one of the best ones is fitness. The amount of fighters who, at the level at the gym's at, they can spar and all that, but they're still not fit enough to fight. But they won't work their fitness. Their mirror's being held up there. Look, after 3 or 4 rounds, you're struggling. Go running. It's not comfy. Where sparring and losing in sparring might be comfy because it's fun. To actually go out and then do the rest.
And there is a massive difference between being fit and being fit while someone's trying to punch you in the face, knee you in the bollocks, whatever that is.
And then you learn the flip side of it. So I'm not fit now compared to when I was fighting, but I can still last it in there, pointing over there, like they know where the gym is.
In the gym.
I can still spar for ages. If I'm sparring you guys, again, it's just an experience difference. I can spar all day.
Is that because you've got, like you say, that experience difference allows you to conserve energy where you can,
I know where I can
less.
and can't push. Yes.
This person's not moving around so much, so maybe I don't have to be as quick on my feet. I can suck in some air or
all that. Absolutely. And again, it's the other side of it. You're learning.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What do you think are some of the things that you can take from boxing, combat sports into everyday life that people maybe don't think about?
Knowing that you're not as fragile as you think you are. That's a big one.
More, but that's important, I think, isn't it?
Male fragility is a huge issue. I think nowadays more than ever. But again, all blokes think they can fight. They can't.
Yeah.
You learn there that you can't, and that it doesn't matter. If you put the work in, you can learn how to fight. But someone who's trained comes up to you on the street, they're going to batter you and make you feel like a bitch.
Does this go back to our favourite Miyamoto quote? Better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Exactly that.
What does that mean to you? It's quite self-explanatory, but I think it's...
For me, I've never got into a fight outside of the combat sports itself because I've never needed to. I've never even felt violent, apart from one time, which I didn't do anything. Makes my
And
business.
you often find that, don't you? It's like, the minute I got my qualification, I didn't want to fight anybody. I am a lover. I'm a pacifist.
Yeah.
I will use my verbal jiu-jitsu to get out of a fight rather than using any skill or
Absolutely.
whatever. It's...
And
do you think that puts people, when you know the skills that you've got, do you think that makes you more violence avoidant almost?
Yeah, I've had people start on me for loads of stupid reasons in the pub and whatnot. People being drunk, and I'm just, nah.
Do you have the thing? I mean, when I did my qualification, everyone was like, what would you do if I did this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, as my mate, I can't really show you because I need to push your Adam's apple back into your throat, your testicles up into your...
Mine, I just don't even... I'll jab you faster than you can blink.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can't.
But did you have that? Because there's still, again, still with ego, everyone's like, oh, I could do this to you and you couldn't do this. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but there are no rules in the street, which means there are no rules for me too.
Yeah, exactly.
You fool.
Because that's what I must admit, I found that hard when I came to boxing.
Rules.
Yeah. Because it's a gentleman's sport, isn't it? It's violent chess, essentially, isn't it?
Absolutely violent chess. It's called the sweet science for a reason.
Exactly
it's
that.
It's a martial art.
And someone also said to me, goes, oh, why are you having a boxing coach on? I said, not only because you've got this musical background, which levels the creativity, but this person couldn't quite grab the fact that fighting is one of the most creative things you can do because you have got to think in split seconds.
So this is going back to when we were talking about the bass and that you've got fewer options to melt people's faces with because it's 4 strings. In boxing...
Melt people's faces. Yeah. So carry on.
In boxing, your rule set is you've got so many constraints. You are allowed to punch and only to the front and side of the head and the front and side of the body. And that's it. So everybody knows the score. And when you get to a level, everyone's practiced the same thing. You need to then, all right, what's off-piste that's going to work for me? When you look at Muhammad Ali, the way he defends is so out of pocket that nobody really did it. Hands down and leaning back. What's going on there? That's creative. Emmanuel Burton, or Emmanuel Augustus, he changed his name halfway through his career, would dance in the ring. He'd be literally dancing in the ring whilst beating the fuck out of people. Super creative. But no one could match his creativity in the ring because it's so weird. It's not what you do. Everyone's used to the same thing. Roy Jones Jr., so fast, so creative.
Which do you think is more creative, attack or defense?
Yin and yang together, sir.
Or balance. Beautiful.
You can't, it's not attack and defense. It's all of it. This is we're getting into the philosophy of fighting now.
This is what I want. This is because you and I have that connection. We're into the philosophy, into the ideas behind it.
You need to learn how to attack and defend at the same time. And that's a huge problem for everyone. Bang, 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 bang. Stand and watch. No. And while you're hitting, you're moving your feet, moving your head, which comes in time and takes practice. But again, the creative side of it is how can I, every time I do this, I'm getting hit with that. What do I need to do to not get hit by that? I'll try this. I've done that. I've been hit by that. So what's the next? How am I going to? Well, no, I've never seen anyone do this and then do that. Oh, that's working for me.
The learning curve has to be a bit fast. Well, unless you want to repeatedly get punched in the face, I guess the learning curve has to be a bit faster, right?
Yes and no. If you want to just wing it and see what you can come up with naturally, then yeah, it can be fast. But if you want to learn and dedicate yourself, this is where all the other stuff comes in. You keep getting hit over the top of your jab, so you need to do shadow boxing with your hands up. How many of you lot shadow box outside of the gym? You do. That's
I do.
One. Again, my structured rounds. I'm going to do 14 rounds of the jab, moving in to the left and to the right with my lead hand high, so no punch over the top. Then I'm going to do it with my lead hand in the middle. Then I'm going to do it in Philly shell.
But that's quite an interesting aspect of the creativity side of boxing, because in what I did, we call it retsev. It's, again, the shadow boxing. Essentially, you're imagining being in a fight without being in a fight. This person's thrown an elbow. This person's trying to grab me around the throat. This person's thrown a jab. So shadow boxing, you have to be quite creative as well, don't you?
It's pure imagination.
Yeah.
That's your creativity 101.
Creativity. You've got to be able to imagine someone stood in front of you, throwing punches, you blocking them, throwing punches.
Can't stress it enough. If you've shadow boxed a double jab moving to your left 1,000 times, when it happens in the fight, oh yeah, and then I'm going to duck under that punch that I've imagined a million times. Again, Tony Jeffries, he would have his fights, and every day leading up to his fight, he'd visualize the pre-show warm-up, the walk to the ring, getting into the ring, the touch of gloves, and then the first 1 or 2 rounds of the fight. Just focus, so that when he does it, it's like I've done it a million times. And at our gym, we'd have your music on, get into the ring, touch gloves all the time, which is what I do. I used to do.
So is that because one of our friends did some white collar with you a while ago, and I remember he burnt himself out pre-fight because his adrenaline was so high, and he was pumped up for the walkout and all this sort of stuff. By the time he'd done all that, he was dead.
It's, again, sparring's very difficult. Then the next stage is the fighting, and it's not the fight that's hard, it's everything before. You will learn so much, again, about yourself waiting for a fight. You think you're a hard, tough mofo.
It takes a different mentality, doesn't it?
I just used to sleep, because otherwise I'd panic my way out of it.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'm just going to go have a nap and I can sleep.
Wow. Well, some of the best fighters are some of the calmest under pressure, right?
Yeah, it's all it is.
Yeah.
Cold steel.
Cold steel.
Cold steel. You can either be you burn bright and fast and then burn out straight away, or you can just be cold steel whilst you're being you're in the firefight. You're just cool, calm, and collected. I say to everyone in there, if they're going to spar and all that, serial killer. You've done this a million times. It's what you love to do. There is no emotional attachment whatsoever. I'm going to punch your face in. I've got no malice in my punches. I've got no violence in my punches. It's just what I do. Your face, why? So that's how I go about it.
And that's quite hard for anyone that's never done a combat sport or been punched, I'd imagine.
Even for your first 6 months to 6 years, that's hard, because you're still going to get hit by something. Oh, I've got to get them back straight away.
And it's instinct as well. Yeah. Sometimes someone punches you, like, oh, can't really stop this. I've just got to punch.
That's the other side.
Again, control elements. This is some of the stuff that I love about the boxing and the fighting that I did. It instills that element of discipline, control, routine sometimes that I think, dare I say, we're lacking a bit in. I look around and
100%.
I see people that are lacking discipline, lacking moral fortitude, resilience, a lot of these things.
It's even just something to work for.
Just a goal, a purpose.
Yeah, a great part of that gym so far in the first year has been the kids that come in who are waifs and starting to become little fuck-ups, and now they're getting jobs, and now they've got something to work for that's quite positive in there.
And we have seen that in the gym, haven't we? Yeah. I'm not going to name any names, but there's some kids that come through and you thought, what the fuck is this kid all about?
Yeah.
And a few months later, they seem to have their head screwed on a bit more.
Doing something.
They've got a bit more purpose, discipline, focus.
Yeah. And the really young kids who are, just sit at home and go watch TikTok.
Yeah.
They're now like...
Oh, we've got some great youngsters, haven't we? In the gym that are really dedicated.
Doing it and, at least switching on a bit.
Is that part of it for you? You want to set an example?
Well, yeah, people? I am a boring man anyway, so I don't drink, I don't have hobbies, and I work, which I love. I wouldn't have it any other way. But I also, with my training, when I was really trying to get seriously good at boxing with hard work, it was for me. So I can say, you need to do this and this whilst they're doing that. Oh, you do it then. Okay. And now I can. And I really believe that I need to lead by example to a point. I live a mostly healthy lifestyle, and last year I didn't exercise as much as I normally do just because of the gym and a child and all this. But as my time becomes freer again, as my daughter's getting older and I'm settling into the role there, then I'll go back to it. But the skill base I have for boxing and coaching is now ingrained enough where I lead by example. So what are you drinking for? Oh, it's fun and all that. Do you want to fight? Yeah. I used to go out at 19, 20, 21, 22, and have sober nights out with my mates because I was having a fight in 6 months. Do you want to win?
And that's part of the reason why I've got you on. Obviously, there is this underlying creativity that runs through your whole story. But the podcast is, for me, about interesting and inspiring human beings. And this is where you're going to probably... Yeah, see, I knew you were going to do that. You're going to get all... I want to make jokes about it and be all silly, but I'm going to pay you a compliment. But
don't.
You are a hugely inspiring man. You've had an interesting journey. But the inspiration that I see you give others in the gym is one of the reasons I wanted to get you on, because I think there's a lot... I wouldn't say you're a mentor as such, but like I think there are, especially for the younger guys coming through, seeing what you're doing, seeing how dedicated you are to the gym, to your craft, to your wife, to Penny, to your family. It's an inspiring thing, and it's like good values as a man, I think, is something that's very important these days.
Beaten to me by my father.
Great. It doesn't matter where it comes from, but I think, like we say, you are an influence, and especially when I see you working with the young guys and young girls, you're inspiring people, and you're giving people a skill set that, like we've just said, we've seen people go from, beat about the bush, maybe some of them could have led down their fuck-ups.
Yeah.
And they've come in a gym maybe with a bit too much ego.
Yeah.
Something that needs addressing, and they're a few months surrounded by you, the other people in the gym, having that humility element of someone coming in and going, oh shit, that young lad can beat the fuck out of this 44-year-old.
I think part of it as well is you come into the class and loads of people think, you go to a boxing gym and everyone's just, ugh! And they're at the age, say, like a 19-year-old lad where I am the Billy Big Boss. I have to act like this because, and all my mates do. And then you come to a gym where there are some seriously good, talented, violent people in there, not violent people, that could rip their heads off, and they're joking, chatting, no ego at all, and like having a good time, happy to be vulnerable, happy to coach each other, and like, mate, you don't have to act.
Because that's probably the negative thing that someone who's never done a combat sport, they imagine, I can't walk into that gym, they're all going to just be arseholes or meatheads or want to kill me or whatever.
Those gyms are out there for sure. Most of them are not like that. All the gyms I've ever been to have been really welcoming and just great, really friendly, everyone on the same level.
And we've got people in the gym doing it for all different reasons, haven't we? Some of them want to fight, some of them on a weight loss journey, some of them on just a general fitness.
Just like to learn. Just want to learn something new, and boxing's it. And the good thing with all combat sports is you'll never learn it all. So once I've learned how to perfect my jab, which you won't, but I've learned how to perfect my jab now. What's next? There's always a what's next, which is what always keeps me invested in it. Anyway,
And your creativity is growing now because, as we've said before, you've got the social media you're doing a bit more on. I know you're going to make it, but the YouTube channel, I mean, I love it, but the YouTube channel's a bit different, isn't it, than just the Instagram fleeting stuff. You enjoy the YouTube
I like the YouTube a lot more.
Talk to us a bit more. What made you, is that off the back of Tony Jeffries' advice?
Yes.
Or you want to extend the knowledge that you're passing on?
Both.
Yeah.
I like YouTube because it's long form and I can talk bullshit all day about boxing.
You really can.
I absolutely can. I love it.
I've probably edited about 3 hours out of this already.
And we can go full nitty gritty into the absolute minutiae of a jab. And that's what you can do on YouTube. And there's someone out there that will love that. That's what I like about it. And then I like the live chats on it. Even when I get abused on it, I find it funny.
Yeah, we've had some fun, haven't we, on the live? But we had, oh God, I'm going to forget his name, but the guy who fought...
Reggie Sweet Johnson.
Reggie Sweet Johnson, yeah. He was chatting
International Boxing Hall of Fame. He was in an era that I loved. He was mid-80s to late 90s. And I don't think I'd ever seen him on TV, so I didn't know who he was. And I checked him out. Bloody hell, I've been in the ring with every favourite boxer I've ever had. We've got
a celebrity chatting to us, and me and you are just bumbling around.
But again, so I knew straight away, there's two reasons I knew he was a legit boxer. One, the way he was chatting on the live. Anyone who's talking shit on a boxing live stream isn't a boxer. He was respectful straight away. He liked watching what we were doing, and like, I love to see that boxing's still alive, and the younger people who obviously wasn't talking about you.
I was going to say, was he watching someone else's video? It can't have been us. Young people.
No, I'm still young.
Yeah, you're still young.
And then also part two of that is having a name like Sweet. Yeah. That's a crap fight name.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. Give yourself the name.
That's so mad that we were on a live stream and some world champion boxer, Hall of Fame.
Wasn't that one of the live streams where there's a few thousand people too?
Yeah.
Every now and again, you'll just get a mad one. I had one ages ago now, a couple of thousand people. But everyone was super educated about combat sports. So we were all chatting about, I think it started with MMA and evolved it. And everybody was chiming in with good, positive stuff. That's the part of social media that's good. And why I like the YouTube. And then some dickhead come, I know where the gym is. I'm going to come and knock you out.
Yeah, we had some guys and he said, I'll be down at this date at this time.
I had one, I'm 2 hours away. I'll see you on Saturday. Joke's on you, kid. I don't work weekends. But then I said, Google Maps, the Jab Lab, it's Paddington Court. And then he came up, is this the address? I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
to come down.
It's amazing. Is it, again, the keyboard warriors who want to think they're tough guys.
But it's again, the fame. I mean, everyone has a fragile ego to some point, regardless of gender. But he would have been teens, I imagine, and never really done anything. I'm not going to say anything in his life. Never done anything humbling or challenging in his life yet. So he's, I can be tough too. There's a man punching the bag and I can do that too.
This is obvious and makes sense to me, but would you advise people to do things that push them out of their comfort zone? Yeah, it's an obvious answer for me and you.
I'd heavily advise any combat sport. You're going to learn so much more about yourself. Whether you just do it for a year or two and then take what you learn into something else, a combat sport, again, you're going to be so deflated to build yourself back up and then humbled again and build yourself back up. Feel like you're drowning for 6 months to a year of your training. There's beauty in that. You don't realise until after. You go, I'm just fucking shit at this. You're not. You're doing what everyone else has done and now they're great at it. And then to take that perseverance into whatever you want to do, especially your creative stuff. You're surrounded by all this artwork that you've done that you're not going to show to anyone. It's fucking good stuff. But then you might think, why have I done that if I can't sell it to who? It doesn't matter because you've done it. Drowned for 6 months doing all this stuff. Now you can take what you learn from that.
There is something to be said, isn't there, for do first.
Yeah, just do.
Later. Well, that's been quite, sounds like it's been quite a lot. Never really thought about it. I just did it. I just walked into that gym or just picked up that guitar and then I just started doing this.
Yeah, again, like you said, but at the time it was just, I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to learn that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to punch that man in the face. Yeah.
Is this me trying to get a nice sound bite out of the podcast? What is the one piece of advice from your fight training that you think is the best piece of advice for people to take in?
Get amongst it!
Yeah, fine.
Here's a great one. I think a huge one, really, which is so lame. Just, again, every fight that I go for, it's always saying, go out there and have fun. People don't. People are scared to do that. Again, you're going to go out there in front of loads of people, and this is for anything, especially creative stuff. You're going to go out there and make yourself vulnerable for other people's judgment or whatever. It's going to make you close up and not express yourself how you want to express yourself. Just go out there and have fun.
And take perhaps some of that nonchalant.
Who cares? Nobody. You are not even a side character in someone else's life. It's all selfish, which again, not in a horrible way, but everyone's life.
But a great lesson to learn.
Yeah, everyone's life is about them. You'll be a fleeting echo of you shouldn't do it. Oh, okay, I went. And then they forget about you.
So people holding themselves back through fear of what people, look at this podcast, me creating art, all these things. It's like, I could very easily bury my head in the sand and not do any of it because I'm scared of what people are going to think. But
again, like putting yourself, if you want to do social media stuff, just put yourself on social media. Well, but what if my voice sounds funny? Doesn't matter. Loads of people's voices sound funny on social media.
Actually, you doing your social media and not giving a fuck about it actually gave me a lot more confidence because it was sort of like,
if that idiot can
do it, I've been in the creative industry for years. I must be able to do this. But it is that weird judgment thing. I'm putting myself out there. I'm putting myself on camera.
You aren't going to judge me more than I've already judged myself.
Exactly. And that's exactly the same for me. Exactly the same for me.
Yeah. So a mutual friend of ours, Tom, who does all the filming and all that, can't believe how well and how fast I do takes for whatever, I'm advertising at my gym. It's because I really couldn't give two shit.
Yeah.
And that means I can relax and deliver the stuff I need to deliver.
Yeah.
You're saying there are people in the industry that can't do it.
Oh, no, I said that word a bit wrong. I need to do the whole again. All right, yeah.
No one will pick up on that. It's the overall message.
Well, that goes back to the whole thing, doesn't it? About you slipping those notes in those gigs. The band might notice, but the audience haven't got a fucking clue.
They're the ones dancing, not you.
Yeah, exactly. But that's kind of what I wanted to take away from this. The fact that there's creativity in fighting. There's the discipline that comes from these things that we can take into. There's so many life skills that span both.
The big one is practice so much that you're obsessed and you know the craft, whatever the craft is, like the back of your hand, and it must be done this way and all that, and practice so much that then you realise that there's 1,000 ways to do it and it doesn't matter.
Is it that thing, know all the rules enough so you can break them?
Yeah, boxing
Picasso,
101.
yeah.
Never, there you go. Mr. Picasso is a good boxer. But anyway, yeah, so again, I'll teach everyone, don't cross your feet when you box. And I'll cross my feet all the time. You just cross your feet. Yeah, but I know when to, I know how to, and I know that the rigid structure can be broken.
Oh, James is that much of a talented boxer. He fights us all doing the moonwalk while he's wearing Crocs, you know.
And singing songs.
And singing songs that he's been singing to his daughter most of the day. What have we not spoken about? I think we've covered a lot. Covered your journey, the creativity, the links between creativity and fighting, the brilliant life skills you can discipline and resilience you can get from fighting.
Yeah, just everyone get yourselves in a combat sport gym so your creativity can get better. And put yourself out there.
But also those other things of you've built a brand, you're doing the YouTube channel. I know you don't like all that, but that building the brand later down the line when you're old and your knees are gone, you might have Penny in as a championship coach.
Maybe. But that, again, it's...
Would you like Penny to do some combat sports? Bear in mind, Penny's
she's going to do some...
two.
Yeah, she'll do something.
Yeah.
I don't care if she competes or anything like that, but I want to know that if someone's picking on her, then she rip their arm off or smash their... Again, it wouldn't be taught like, just go kill them. But if I've got a pretty mean slap on me because I can box. So worst case scenario, first thing I'm going to do is either shove someone really hard, which I've done loads of times. I've pushed people so hard they've gone flying and don't want any part of it. So hopefully she can do that. Or you slap them, which I've never had to, so hard that they don't want any part of it. So she's got that, and all the rest of it, the confidence and the being humble and having something to work to, and the discipline
and failing to begin with and getting better and
make sure she fails a lot. I want her to be not as blasé as me. That's what I want.
That's cool.
You're going to be a driven young lady. Yeah. Just something combat sports related for a while, no matter what.
I think it's important for everybody.
For everybody. And then stay active.
Yeah, the minute you stop, that's what we see, isn't it? A lot of time we see.
Again, your physical discipline is exactly the same as your creative discipline. If you're not being active in your creative, so my guitar playing's gone to absolute shit, but it's because I'm not active in it. Whereas if I was still practicing, I'd be selling those.
Would you like to be more active in your music?
I want an electric drum kit. I flirted with the drums. I'm sure as soon as I get that, I'll be in the thing again. But it's new. It will be learning.
And also, I guess the priorities: raising a family, getting married, having a child, starting the gym. The priorities.
Can't do everything. And
you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, at the minute, making sure I raise a functional adult is key, especially in the age of non-functional adults.
She's only 2, but I love her to pieces. We had such a good time the other day playing hide and seek and boxing monsters in the gym. That I didn't do any boxing, but that was fine. What are the future aspirations? Bigger, better gym, more coaches, more...
Yeah, I want people in there, coaches in there are way more talented than me. Eventually, I want to make a space where they want to be in there and working, whether it's self-employed and rent the space off me or whether I'd love to give them the job. There's not a lot of job security in boxing coaching or boxing alone. So yeah, bigger, better, more members, full classes, just see where all the online stuff, if that ever takes off, cool. But it's the bread and butter that I like.
Face-to-face is the most important that pays your bills.
The ultimate dream would be to make boxing champions over time.
And would that involve getting amateur, professional?
So I want to get my pros license this year, and I'll get my amateur later on.
My naivety, what do you have to do to get those sorts of licenses?
I don't know the ins and outs really. A couple of my mates are pro coaches, and I've asked them, and it's basically you do an interview, pass the interview, here you go. But then you have to work your way up, so you can't just. I wouldn't then be able to go and lead you into a boxing match. I'm a second coach, so I've got to hold the spit bucket, get spat on.
Cool.
Make sure you get the bucket.
Okay, we've covered quite a lot in this, haven't we? We do have a closing tradition on the Creative Nowhere Land podcast where we ask our guests to give us a quote of some sort that resonates with you, and also someone in your network that you think could be an interesting guest to come on the Creative Nowhere Land podcast in the future.
I constantly spit out quotations from people who are way smarter than me and way more qualified than me all day, every day.
I need one for the podcast.
Yes. You mentioned one of my favourites, which is Better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Miyamoto Musashi from the Book of Five Rings. Read it, change your life. But one of my favorites from a lady I miss dearly is from my auntie. And it's super simple. After 10 years of battling horrific cancer, sign off was smile at strangers and enjoy your life.
Oh, that's brilliant. And can we talk a little, because we forgot, haven't we? Your auntie is a big, important character. And this is one of those things that, again, discipline, giving back to others. When your auntie was poorly with cancer, you decided to do 101 rounds of boxing for charity, didn't you?
I did indeed.
How was that?
Terrible. We raised a shed load of money for Bloodwise. I think they've changed their name now, but basically, I think they're the leading blood cancer charity in the UK.
Yeah.
Because she had a really aggressive and rare form of blood cancer, some kind of Hodgkin's lymphoma or something like that.
And she passed away, sadly, just before you would...
Yeah. From what, she either passed away just before we did the event itself, or she passed away because I wanted her to be there. I wanted to do the last round with her, which she would have never been able to do because she was
really
at that point really bad. Yeah. Basically, I think the last year of her life, she was just in hospital. But so she was either there but couldn't make alive with us and couldn't make it, or she died just before we released the documentary. So Tom, who did a really nice documentary that he put out on YouTube about it all, and I don't think she saw that. But if you want to watch that, it's called Use the Love as one word. Big shout out to Tom Civil or Baker Avenue. She's an incredible lady. My auntie was a surrogate mother, pretty much, really. To myself and to my sister. So she was a big character in our lives. Lovely lady. A good human all round.
Great quote as well.
Yeah. Again, so simple and so effective. Whether you just don't want to be embarrassed, no one cares, but just smile at someone.
My nan said the same thing. Give 3 compliments a day, and they don't have to be like, "Well, I love your fit," or
no.
Just, I really love that jacket, or I love the energy you've got when you walk into a room, or whatever. We're so
pure tiredness.
That's
and
a 2-year-old.
People are so receptive just to people being nice, but just don't expect it, or just don't. Not that they don't want to do it. Scared of what if they're not nice back? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
You know they're a knob.
Who cares? You never know what you're going to do with some kind words to someone, even if they don't respond. They might go away and think, "Oh my God, that guy said something really nice about my coat the other day,"
and then I'll say something nice about 2 other people's coats, and
that play it forward thing, isn't it? It's just like,
yeah. She was a wise lady. Didn't get too many years on the planet, but was good with a lot of stuff.
Pretty incredible of you to do 101 rounds of boxing.
I had to do more than anyone else in our gym.
Again, go on, tell that story. Someone else had done 100 rounds.
Yeah, we'd had a couple of 100-round events to raise money for charity, so secretly I had to better them. But it was also inspired by my auntie. Had been in and out of comas for God knows how long, and a couple of times bad, like, oh, this is it kind of comas, and then bounced back and come out of the hospital and lived quote unquote normal life as best she could for a year or 2 or 9 months, whatever.
And not to the same league, but when you were going through the 101 rounds, did you go through peaks and troughs?
Oh, big time.
I'm going to give this up.
And then that was it.
Bounce back.
That my 100th round was maybe, her being like, "Whoa," and then she'd always give one more.
Yeah. So there you go, 101 rounds.
Yeah, and I remember bizarrely the first 30 rounds piece of cake. And then first 60 rounds as a video of me around 67 or something, still looking all right. I was like, oh, and then 70.
Really?
Oh, just the world collapsed around me.
Oh, I can imagine that's exhausting.
But yeah, there's a video. So I beat my mom up instead for the last round. There's a video of me. I think it's on the end of Tom's documentary. And I'm just...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and a creative person in your network, or a person in your network that you think would be an interesting guest?
Tom Civil.
There you go. We spoke about. He made the documentary. Tom is an absolute legend.
Unbelievably good eye for filmmaking and photography in general. I've got 2 actually. So Tom Civil and yourself.
Oh, you see, this is now you've done it on a podcast. That's dangerous. But a few people have come and said, "Hey, we really need to have an interview of you," and I'm like, "Nah." But yeah. I'm not sure how we'd work that. And so Tom Civil. So Tom.
But yeah, Tom, again, incredible and inspiring person, doing loads of stuff outside of his art as well. He's a very driven, switched on dude. So yeah, him, great creative eye, makes good stuff as well as he's a good bloke.
He's just a good egg as well.
He's a lovely, lovely man, top geezer.
I think it would be an interesting story. I like Tom a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And he'll be a good one. James.
And you.
And so Tom Civil. James, thank you so much for doing the Creative No Land podcast, mate. As I say, maybe people might look at it and go, a boxing coach. I'm not really sure about that, but so much creativity wrapped up in your journey, so much creativity wrapped up in not getting punched in the face.
Yes. I don't like it.
So,
I try not to let it happen.
And I just think there's some genuinely good life lessons to learn from people listening to this if they choose to take away from.
Yeah. Again, get amongst it.
Get
yourself involved. Smile at strangers, enjoy your life. And if enjoying your life is to go and get fisted in the face repeatedly or hopefully get around it, then do it.
Beautiful. Ending the podcast with some mild fisting.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Creative Noah Land podcast. If you found anything in this episode useful or inspiring, please consider subscribing or sharing it with a friend. You can also help the podcast by clicking the support the show link in the show notes or by grabbing yourself something from the Creative Noah Land shop. And here's the bonus. When you join the community through our website, you'll get a special discount code that gives you free shipping on all orders. So, before you buy anything, be sure to join the community. Every bit of support helps us keep sharing these inspiring stories. So, thanks again for listening, and until next time, explore, inspire, and create.
Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?